dictators, one pope, and three controversial deals that shaped history. From Napoleon's ambition to crown himself emperor, to Mussolini's cunning political maneuvers, and Hitler's rise to totalitarian power, the Vatican found itself entangled in some of the most pivotal moments of modern history. But why did the Vatican, an institution built on faith and morality, collaborate with these dictators? And what were the consequences of these deals? Today, we uncover the shocking story of how faith and power collided in three historical agreements between the Pope and the dictators. Our story begins in post-revolutionary France. After the chaos of the French Revolution, the Catholic Church was in ruins, its lands confiscated, its influence shattered. But for Napoleon Bonaparte, restoring the Church was a political necessity. He needed its moral authority to stabilize his regime and consolidate power. In 1801, Napoleon signed a Concordat with Pope Pius VII. This agreement restored the Catholic Church in France, but with strings attached. Napoleon controlled the appointment of bishops, and the Church had to accept the loss of its confiscated properties. On paper, it was a win-win deal, but in reality, Napoleon saw the Church as a tool, a means to legitimize his rule. Cut to Napoleon crowning himself in 1804. This became clear during Napoleon's coronation. Instead of allowing Pope Pius VII to crown him, Napoleon famously took the crown and placed it on his own head. A symbolic act that said, "My power is not from the Church, but from me." Their relationship quickly soured. By 1809, Pope Pius VII openly defied Napoleon's policies and was taken prisoner, spending 5 years in captivity. The Church had struck a deal, but at what cost? Fast forward to 1929. Italy was now under the iron fist of Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator. For decades, the Vatican and the Italian state were at odds over the so-called Roman question. When Italy unified in the 19th century, the Pope lost his temporal power and territories. But Mussolini saw an opportunity. By solving the Roman question, he could win the support of Italy's Catholics and bolster his regime's legitimacy. The result was the Lateran Treaty. The Vatican became an independent state, received financial compensation for its lost territories, and Catholicism was declared Italy's official religion. For the Vatican, this was a restoration of its sovereignty. For Mussolini, it was a public relations victory. But there was a darker side to this deal. In exchange for its newfound independence, the Vatican largely stayed silent on Mussolini's oppressive policies. The Church had regained its temporal power, but at the cost of moral authority. Perhaps the most controversial of these deals came in 1933. Adolf Hitler had just risen to power, and his Nazi regime sought to consolidate control over Germany. The Catholic Church, on the other hand, was deeply concerned about the rise of communism and the survival of its institutions in Germany. The Reich Concordat was signed between Hitler and Pope Pius XI. The agreement granted the Church certain protections, such as the right to run schools and appoint clergy. In return, the Church promised to stay out of German politics. But Hitler quickly betrayed this agreement. Catholic schools were shut down, clergy were persecuted, and Nazi propaganda targeted the Church. Meanwhile, the Vatican's silence on Nazi atrocities grew louder. By 1937, Pope Pius XI issued a scathing encyclical titled Mit brennender Sorge, with burning anxiety, condemning the Nazis. It was read in German churches, but Hitler was already too powerful. The Concordat, meant to protect the Church, had inadvertently helped legitimize the Nazi regime. 3 deals, 3 moments where faith met power. Each time the Vatican sought to protect the Church's survival, but the compromises came at a moral cost. With Napoleon, the Pope regained influence but lost autonomy. With Mussolini, the Vatican became a sovereign state, but turned a blind eye to fascism. And with Hitler, the Church's attempt to secure its institutions inadvertently lent credibility to a tyrant. History shows us the complexity of these choices. In a world where morality and survival collide, what should take precedence? What do you think? Were these deals necessary compromises or moral failings? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more stories about the intersection of faith, power, and history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.